The Jinn. What are the Jinn? Who are the Jinn? What determines a Jinn? What is their origin? And what is their purpose? So, this video is made by somebody who practices sorcery, or art of sihr, as it is known in Arabic countries, in the Islamic world. As somebody who practices sihr and works with the Jinn and the Islamic paradigm of magic, I will try to answer many questions about them in this video. So the Jinn are special and separate species of spiritual entities. They are not the same as qliphothic spirits, or as the Loa, or as many other entities present within many different currents. They are their own species, and they all originate from one singular entity and his wife. They all originate from the Jinn, father of the Jinn. The Jinn was the first Jinn, and he gave birth with his wife to all other Jinns in existence. So, if you want to determine is somebody a Jinn, just ask him, is Jinn, father of the Jinn, one of your ancestors? If they answer yes, they are the Jinn. If they answer no, they aren't the Jinn. So, the Jinn are just like us. They inhabit the unseen world, beyond the three senses. And they, indeed, possess many supernatural abilities. They transformed my life completely, and the spirit who saved my life from suicide, the King Paimon, is one of the Jinns. Now, many incorrectly say that Paimon is a demon, a qliphothic spirit, which is incorrect. He indeed holds authority within the qliphothic realms, but by his origin, by his spiritual makeup and character, he is one of the Jinns. And among his ancestors are Jinn, father of the Jinn, and many other prominent Jinns. He actually comes from the noble Jinnic bloodline. Now, the Jinns have four major species or kinds of the Jinn. There are some smaller species of the Jinns, but they will not be referred to in this video. So the four species of the Jinns are, or let's be honest, there are actually 5 species of the Jinns, but most authors quote only 4 species, but they are actually 5 major species of the Jinns. So the Jinns fall in 5 categories. The first category are Ifrits. Those are the Jinns which live in deserts and in really hot places. Ifrit means powerful one. They are extremely powerful entities, extremely powerful Jinn, but they are not the most powerful Jinn. Many of those entities actually are adversarial in nature, and you have to be really careful while you work with them. But if you know how to befriend the Ifrits, they are really good allies and companions. Another species of the Jinn are ghouls. The ghouls are really easy to control and work with if you wanna control them, but they are not strong as much as Ifrits. They are really composed of lot of death energy, but their death energy is extremely specific and unique to them. So they are not the same as zombies or as other necromantic entities. They are their own species, which is infused with death energy. They inhabit the graveyards and other dirty and filthy places, and they are mostly used for purpose of baneful magic. They are also extremely vampiric in nature, so you need to be careful while you work with them. The third species is also not as powerful as Ifrits, but they are really knowledgeable and interesting species. We talk about Parisians. The Parisians are really similar to what we call fairies in the Western culture. They are extremely non-willing to show themselves to humans. They live in wild and untainted areas. They are extremely attuned to the four elements, extremely peaceful, and they do not like to interact with humans. And they are not warlike beings. They indeed can be really dangerous if you fuck them up, but they are indeed not interested in harming humanity in any shape or form. They really live in their own realms and mind their own business in nature, but they are really disturbed by the fact that we destroy nature with such a rapid pace. Now, here is the thing, they are not the same as the fairies from the European folklore. So, the Parisians are similar to fairies, but they are not the same as the fairies. And the fourth race of the Jinn we will talk about in this video is Marids. Now, Marids are the most powerful of all Jinnic species. They are extremely strong, but they are also extremely hard to work with. They inhabit mostly the bottom of the sea and the deeper realms of the abyss. They are, just like the Parisians, extremely hard to reach, but not so difficult to reach. And their component and energy is really different from that of Ifrits. Their energy feels like burning water. Like their energy feels like dark green burning water, and I cannot describe it until you summon them. They are indeed, almost all of them are actually attuned to the void, and they do not serve the Godhead, nor any of its avatars, nor the Demiurge in any particular way. They are force of chaos, and they should be reckoned with. And many of the Marids do not want to be widely known by humanity. Majority of Jinnic kings we find in the lore are actually the mix between Ifrits and Marids. So, for example, Iblis is a mix between Ifrit and Marid. His father is, I think, Ifrit and his mother is Marid. Same can be said for King Paimon and Azazel. All three of them are actually mixed between Ifrit and Marid in origin. I don't know for Azazel. No, Azazel is not. I am making a mistake here. Azazel is the Watcher. But for Paimon and Iblis, I am sure, and I got a confirmation from other spirits that Iblis and Paimon are indeed mixed between Ifrit and Marid. Now, what is the most important thing when you work and approach jinns? Two most important things when you work and approach jinns are the following. You need to have willpower to summon them, and you also need to have developed astral senses in order to perceive them. You need to treat them respectfully, and you also need to know what you are doing, who are you summoning, so that you can treat a spirit respectfully. Why I am talking about this? The jinns are not like glyphotic spirits present within the Western lore. If you piss them off, they won't give a fuck. Majority of them will just kick your ass. They are really impulsive, and be careful while working with them. But they are also, if you treat them well, extremely good helpers. And if you build a relationship with them in any significant manner, they will indeed be extremely willing to help you. And they will build strong relationship bond with you. Jinns are really human-like in behavior and emotions. Many spirits do not have an understanding of human emotions and psychology, but it's not the same for the jinns. Jinns have extremely good understanding for human psychology, because they themselves have really human-like emotions and behaviors. They too have families, clans, states, kings, many different religions and ideologies within their own societies. They have their own religious temples, customs, histories, bloodlines, and all other things. They are pretty much extremely similar to mankind. The only difference is that they don't die in the same way we do. Jinns also reincarnate. When jinn die, they go to the Sea of Smokeless Fire, which is the primordial essence from which all of them originated, and then they return in a new shape into the unseen world. This is what I got from King Paimon when I asked what happens to jinn when they die. But the difference between us and them is that they live much longer, and they have many other abilities we don't. So here is the thing. You need to start working with jinns. If you want to work with them, you need to invest extreme amount of time. And according to my experience, the safest way to start working with jinns is to either contact Jinn King Paimon, or to start working with your Hamzad or Karim. Now, what is or who is your Hamzad or Karim? Okay, all of us have a Jinnic familiar, which is assigned to us when we are born. And Karim or Hamzad is that jinn, which is assigned to us when we are born. That jinn has our best interest in mind. They have our health in mind, they have our power in mind, they have our liberation in mind. The reason why all of those Islamic teachers warn against working with Karins is because Karins think outside of boundaries presented by mainstream religion. Islam, Christianity, Judaism, Karins think outside of those boundaries, and they will always tell you a quickest way to achieve your goal. But that goal will usually be outside of religious doctrine. Your Karin is also really useful because your Karin will usually reflect the darkest aspects of your own psyche. Before you are born, the higher ranking jinn see decent parts of your future. So according to their observation, they give you a Karin which will follow you through your life. And your Karin is with you until you die. Now, there is one interesting thing I left for the end of this video. In the beginning of this video, I talked about there are 5 major species of the Jinn. But I mentioned only 4 until now. And there is a reason for it. And now I will talk about that reason. You see, there is a war within a Jinnic realm. You have 2 sides. One side is led by some of the Jinnic elders, and Iblis and Paimon, and that side is infernal side, the side of chaos. And you have also the side of order. Now, the side of order is led by John, father of the Jinn, and the celestial Jinn, and some of the Ifrits, and there represent the celestial side. In the side of chaos, the infernal side, you have almost all ghouls, good part of Ifrits, all of the Marids, and those 3 types, part of Ifrits, ghouls and Marids, follow the side of chaos. Part of Ifrits and the celestial Jinn follow the side of order. They are really big in number, both sides are really big in number, but I think side of chaos outnumbers the side of order a little bit. But then again, you have other celestial beings supporting the celestial Jinn, so they do not have problems in numbers. The Pari Jinns are neutral Jinns. They do not participate in any wars. They pretty much deal their own business. And because there is a war among the Jinn and Paris are neutral, they are extremely difficult to find. So the Parisians purposefully additionally fortified their realm, so you have difficulty accessing it and accessing spirits from it. And I tried to access them and I failed. I will actually channel from Iblis in the future how to access the Parisians. So yeah, you have war in Jinnic realm. I, in this video, laid out the basics. How to start working with Jinns, what you need to develop, what you need to have. And almost all things mentioned in this video will be elaborated more deeply in future videos. And I will really build a really large video series which will reveal to the public all of the information I found over my 5 years long working with higher ranking Jinn. I will really go into depth with this series. So thanks for watching this introductory video and see you later, guys.